All right, we are live. So, I asked everybody, is Friday going to be better? Is Saturday going to be better? And thank you because most of my audience wanted what was best for me. And that's why I know as I've been going through this process, the people who are showing up for me, I want to show up for them. And I want to create win win situations along the way. And so, what I'm going to start doing is a regular live for my people and just share my knowledge, my insights, and I want to get your knowledge and insights too, because the truth is in life, it's never just a one side thing. There's never just a teacher and a student. Usually, the teacher is the student, and the student is the teacher, and that's the game that I want to play. I want to have a lot of fun on my journey. I've had so much fun on my journey, and I want to continue to have fun on my journey. And so, what's up, Gemma? How you doing? What I really wanted to focus on today was how did I get to this? Like, how did I become what I became? I've done a lot on my journey. I've been a published author. I'm a coach. I'm an ex UFC fighter. I fought with some of the biggest names on the stage. And I was an overweight kid who ended up losing the weight. I ended up doing, I actually graduated from ASU. I was an academic athlete. And yeah, I've gotten Pac-10 awards. I've gotten academic athletic awards. And I continue to move forward and continue to stretch and grow as much as I can and have fun. And what's so interesting, uh, the start of the Power of Six, like what I'll start with is greatness within. Greatness within, being your best version, your most stretched, empowered version. You will shock yourself. That much I will say. You're going to shock yourself because you're going to do things you didn't know that you could do. You're going to stretch in ways you didn't know you could stretch. And that starts with a combination of not only you believing in you, but having the right people believe in you and having the right people tell you you're full of shit and you're not going to do anything in your life. We work on pain and pleasure. And I want to remind people, don't let pain stop you from the pleasure that you want. And sometimes that's what people do is they allow pain to keep them from their pleasure. Pain is just an experience, a learning experience. And if we use it as such, we can win. We can win in this game called life. And the only person that can stop us is really us. We can tend to pump the brakes on our journey because someone said we couldn't do something, or someone said we weren't capable, or someone said we have to stay in our lane because we don't have this piece, and this piece. You don't have A, B, and C, and this is why you shouldn't do it. And greatness within is about not only shattering limiting beliefs, but allowing others to shatter theirs as well. When you do something that's amazing, other people are watching and they're saying like, well, if such and such can do it, then maybe I can do it too. And as I've gone through my journey, I didn't realize how true that was. Everybody's watching our every move, more so than we realize. And the biggest person who's watching us the most is ourselves. We're the one who has to go to bed with ourselves every night. And so it's so important to be really intentional with the life that we want to live. And so as we're going through our journey, I'm going to rehash how the Power of Six really came about. So as I went through my process, transitioning from fighting to entrepreneurship was not an easy transition. Just like anything, never is truly an easy transition. You start as an kid school or in school as a kid, and then you go into middle school, and that feels a little uncomfortable at first. And then you go into high school, and even that can feel a little uncomfortable. And so going from high school to college to being a personal trainer to being a high level athlete, the transition from being in my prime, I was still in my prime, but it just wasn't for me anymore. I had my kid and I had to make a decision. Now I have kids, plural, but at the time I had my one kid, Tyson, and I decided to walk away from the sport. I decided, okay, the sport just isn't for me anymore. And diving into entrepreneurship, I started as in Amazon FBA of all things. Like, and if you don't know what FBA means, it's fulfillment by Amazon. And going through that process, I realized I didn't like it. Like that part wasn't fun to me. And what was interesting, certain things started falling into place. Like I always say, give life 100% because things will fall into place. And you don't know exactly how they'll fall into place sometimes, but they tend to do it. I decided to get certified as a coach. And as I got certified as a coach, I'm sitting there saying, like, this is what I've always done. You know, this is as a personal trainer, you're coaching people through their process. And the funny thing is, you don't think of the skills and the tools that you're learning along the way until you really go backwards and unpack it. They just feel like gifts, you know, because you're passionate in whatever you're passionate in. You know what my biggest passion is? I want to master the gifts that I was put on this earth to really enjoy and express. And one of those gifts is to inspire people, you know, and get them to critically think on their life, you know, get them to, and critical thinking doesn't mean taking other people's opinion. You know, it's usually quite the opposite. But going through the process, I ended up meeting a mentor, and she helped me along the way with speaking specifically. And she had me speak on a stage of my friends and my family. And I asked her, I'm like, is this going to be the most uncomfortable speech that I ever have? And she said, absolutely, because you're speaking in front of people who know you, and it's going to feel weird. I'm like, all right, so let's do this thing. So I get on there, and it's diarrhea from the mouth all over the place. And my audience said it was inspiring, but they said they had trouble following it. And it made sense to me because I had trouble following it. I was just going with what I was going with. And so what I did was I had to reverse engineer and go, okay, well, what's the final result that I get people? And so I thought of my final result. Final result meaning like greatness within. It's really an identity shift. You know, when you can shift your identity and know that you're a badass, that you're unstoppable, that you're a creator and a consumer, and you have to be careful with what you consume. You have to be careful with what you create. You have to be careful with all of those things. You have to take everything into consideration. Every action that you take, every movement that you make, every thought that you think, every decision. And so I went, okay, there's greatness with it. I reverse engineered it. Like, okay, what is that person going through after they have a better marriage, after they are they're overcoming a drug addiction or an alcohol addiction or dealing with weight gain? What is that result going backwards? And then I went in, okay, at the end, one of the best things they have is they take responsibility. You know, when you can take responsibility, it's one of the most powerful things you can do because it takes it off the shoulders of others and puts it on your shoulders. When you put it on your shoulders, you cannot lose. You can only learn then because it's 100% your responsibility. And when it's 100% your responsibility, you can respond and not react. And so I put, okay, extreme responsibility is in there. And I'm like, okay, what comes with extreme responsibility? I reversed engineered again. And then I realized Oh yeah, you gotta have unshakable faith. Like you have to believe in something bigger than you, whatever that may be. You got to believe it, and you got to believe it fully, because you're gonna get tested. Life tests us. It tests us all. And the question is, how are you gonna show up when you're getting tested? And when you do get tested and you pass the test, and I'm not talking about a win on the scoreboard, I'm talking about you gave your all and you came out different. You came out transformed. That's unshakable faith, knowing that there's something on the other end. Responsibility was always easier to take after you went through that process. And so then I reversed engineered even more and said, okay, how do you get them to unshakable faith? And with unshakable faith, to get to that, you have to have passionate action. Because the problem, hey buddy, the problem with
I'm looking for lights.
not having passionate action.
Dad, I'm looking for lights.
They're not in here, son. The problem with not having passionate action is you always have the fallback of, well, I didn't try anyway. And so how can you have unshakable faith if you went after something and you really weren't trying to go after that thing? You always have that fallback. And that's why passionate action is so important. It's just like, I am fully dedicated. I'm going to go through the finish line. Passionate action, all in. I'm giving my best. I'm going to stretch as much as I can. Unshakable faith is created through that. And then these kid toys, I tell you. Okay, the beauty of parenthood. So, with passionate action, how do you get someone to take real passionate action? Well, a plan's needed. A person can't, it's very hard to passionately do something if you have no plan in place, if you have no idea what you're acting on or why you're acting on it. And some people may disagree. They may say, well, I have passionate action without a plan. And to me, that personally is foolish action. There needs to be some sort of plan in place. Like, what are you doing and why are you doing it? If you don't know why you're doing it, you're just kind of going off the handles. And it's only a matter of time before you quit doing it. Like you can't maintain the passion if you don't know why you're doing the thing that you're doing. And so that's where having that, it doesn't have to be a perfect plan. It really never is. You know, you're going to have a plan in place with steps in place. And honestly, we make our plans way too complicated. Simple plan. I'm talking about 2 or 3 changes at the most. Sometimes we make our plans so elaborate that we don't take any action at all. It's like too much planning. So I go, okay, what two or three things are you going to do on your plan? And how specific is your plan? Are you measuring your plan? I had one of my coaches say, if it's not measured, it's not managed. And I 100% agree with that. If I'm not measuring what it is that I'm doing, then what am I really creating? I don't know. I can't measure it. So it's all over the place. So as you get that structure, I went, okay, what gets the plan in place? And when I talk about what gets the plan in place, this was what was really interesting to me. Why do people have issues with getting in shape or keeping a resolution, right? A New Year's resolution. Why do they have trouble with doing that? The foundation, that whole foundation. And the foundation is the 3 C's, I eventually called it. And it started in a couple of different places, but I eventually stuck with the 3 C's. And the 3 C's, the start of the plan, is clarity, confidence, and commitment. If you're clear on what you want, if you're truly confident in yourself, and confident doesn't mean knowing everything that you need to know. Confident just means you believe in you. You believe it's capable. And if you're committed to the process. And I love how people will say commitment, oh, it's so cliche. And it is. And it is only because everyone can say it. Like, okay, everyone can say what they can say. But the question is, are you going to act on the commitment, when you act on the commitment, everything comes together. And so going through my greatness within, it was a circle. And at first I thought it was a line, right? Um, I thought it was a line until I started sharing it with others. And by the way, so my first speaking gig was an absolute bomb. My second one was a standing ovation. Like I got a standing ovation for my speech. Now, how did I get so good in such a short amount of time? And the reason I did was because it wasn't that short of an amount of time. They say public speaking is one of the big fears for people. Well, when you stepped inside of a UFC cage, you're plenty enough confident to go stand in front of a bunch of people, because they're not going to run on the stage and punch you in the face. So it's not going to be so bad. And so I bring this up to remind everyone that everything that we do consistently is showing up. And we might not even know where it's going to show up at. Like, I didn't know fighting in a UFC cage, one day I would be speaking on a stage. Like, I couldn't have put that together. All I could have done is lived my life as fully as possible, stretch my life as much as I could, and have fun along the way. And as I have fun along the way, things show up all the time. And so even as I took my entrepreneurial journey, which is something that I didn't know was going to happen. So, yep, my kid's loud. Going through my process, going from fighter to entrepreneur, I didn't realize relationships are some of the most important things. Well, I did realize it, but I realized it unconsciously. If you follow me through my journey, this will all make more sense, because I know it's like, what is he talking about? I'm going to break it up. This is kind of like, this is the first intro of what you're going to get, what you're going to expect. And as we go through the process, as we go through the journey, you'll understand more and more and more. There were certain things that I did unconsciously that I didn't know that I was doing. And it's led to a lot of amazing things on my journey. And I just want a lot of amazing things in your journey to let you know that you're not alone on your journey. You know, you're not by yourself. And say I'm a fighter who fights for you, but I'm also going to fight alongside you too, because you need to learn how to fight at the very best of your ability. And you need to push yourself in ways you didn't think that you could. And you need to be challenged in ways you didn't know were possible. And you need those things because not only does it build you internally, it builds your external world as well. When you stretch yourself and you see how much you can grow, you see how much you can become, it's an absolute experience and a fun one. You know, a fun one that you not only get to share with others, you get to share with yourself internally. And so the power of 6, clarity, confidence, and commitment. Having a plan, taking passionate action, unshakable faith, extreme responsibility, and greatness within. As we're going through this journey and we're moving forward and seeing who we can be and who we can become, ultimately, I talk about putting in the reps. When we put in the reps, we win in our game. We win in ways we didn't know that we could win. So my question to you is, are you putting in the reps of your life? And are you putting in the reps of your business? I'm going to make some changes on my Facebook group. I'm actually going to change the title, as I've talked to everybody about, and it's going to be Mind, Body, Business Mastery, putting in the reps. I haven't changed the title yet because I want to get the pictures in place first. I may change the title first. I haven't decided. I'm going to figure that one out. But Mind, Body, Business Mastery. Because in life, you're always going for your mastery. You're always looking to expand and stretch and see who you can become and have a lot of fun along the way. tell a lot of amazing stories. So I appreciate you for showing up and stopping by. Let me read some of these comments. Also important. Yes, thank you. Yeah, much appreciated. That's what was interesting as I'm taking my entrepreneurial journey. I look back at other things that I've succeeded in life. We talk about mindset and how important mindset is. And even Tony Robbins says it's 80% your mindset and your psychology and 20% your skill set. That is so true. That's the truest thing you're going to hear. Everything that's gotten me to where I've gotten, going from overweight to in shape, going from a high level athlete, going into an author and a coach, going into being this entrepreneur and seeing how far this can go. My mindset has always gotten me there. The skills will be developed. The skills get developed from the mindset, though. When you truly, truly believe in yourself and your capabilities and you have that unshakable confidence, you'll become whatever you want to become. And you'll stretch and learn the lessons that you need to along the way.
I need to tell you.
Okay, let Daddy finish this, okay? I'm almost done, but.
Was standing down
So,
and I was standing right there, and people
so what
down a stump on me.
Yeah, he's 5. He's good.
And I just hugged him. And
Okay, give me a minute, son.
it take off.
So I'm gonna go play Dad right now. I wanted to have these at 9, but I may have it at 8. I honestly don't think it matters because for some strange reason, he likes to wake up whenever I wake up, which is interesting, but I respect it. So you guys keep being amazing, keep having fun along the way, and Gemma, appreciate you for stopping by. And I see 2 Facebook users. I don't know why it never shows the actual name of the Facebook users, but I appreciate you guys stopping by too. And let's have fun along the way. Let's see what we create with what you consume. You all have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you later.